it.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, on talklawradio.com, on podcasts everywhere. You can find this show there as well. And if you're interested in some line of law, if you're confused or frustrated by regulations, send me an email at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. I'd like to investigate what's frustrating you and talk about it on the radio. Jacob Warren is one of the three Warrens here with me today, talking about their family business, Financial Planning HQ. Jacob, I'm interested in what are some reasons that somebody should fire their financial advisor right now?
That's a great question, Todd. And I was actually just looking at some of the information that's come back from clients out there in common mistakes that their financial advisor makes. And the number one mistake and reason why people fire their financial advisors now is that they don't know what they're paying their financial advisor. It's interesting that in finance, you don't necessarily know what you're paying your advisor, but every other thing that you go out there and buy, you go buy a car, you hire a CPA, you go to the store, the price is right there, you know exactly what you're paying, but it's the opposite in the financial world. So that's something that we're very transparent at with our clients, is they know exactly dollars and cents what they're paying us. And I think that's a huge value add. And my dad and I were talking about this in the lobby. Have we ever met anybody that actually knew what they were paying their financial advisor? I ran into one person in my career since 2012. Steve, since the 80s, has said he's ran into zero people. Joseph?
Very few.
Very few. So it's very uncommon for someone to actually know. And that's something that we're very, like I said, we're very transparent. Some of the other reasons were taking too long to complete tasks, more than a week, using industry jargon, stuff that nobody would know unless they were in the industry. Not considering a client's values is a big one. And that's something that we go through in our initial process, is we find out what's important about money to all of our clients. And that helps drive our recommendations to them. And so, go ahead.
It's funny you say that, because I went to an advisor one time, and I discovered right away that his value was that I retire. He said, "When are you going to retire?" And I said, "I'm not going to retire." And so right off the bat, I don't like this guy because he wants me to retire. And so I think that's awesome that you actually ask the question. You're not going to push some agenda on me.
Right. Yeah, that's just a part of the process, is we take everyone through and we figure out what truly is important to them, and that really guides our recommendation process.
Okay. Joseph, what do you think makes you different than everybody else?
The fact that a lot of what Jacob said, right? The fact that we start with values, but...
Well, what makes you different from Jacob?
What makes me different? Very different personality. We did personality tests, and mine was on the opposite spectrum.
We're polar opposites. That's why we get along, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, Jacob's great, a great person to work with. And yeah, we've seen that play out with many clients like I was talking about. I love to see clients win. We've had clients who have family businesses, a lot of husband and wife business owners. And that's really neat too, because the strategy can create perfect alignment of their business and also their personal finances. So that their business almost becomes this powerful tool they have to make sure they hit all their financial goals. So it's a blessing. I didn't really think about it, but it's really cool that decisions Steve was making when I was in middle school have led to me being here, working in this business. And I never really thought about it until this interview, but I really believe in what we're doing. It's all about providing the best value to the client. That's what it should be about. It seems obvious, but for some reason it's lacking with a lot of companies in the financial industry.
Steve, I'm so surprised and just in awe and wonder at how you got your kids to work with you, because my kids knew exactly what I did from the time that they were babies, because I told them, I can't play with you. I'm at work. and so I think I accidentally turned them off to the law just by showing them all the sacrifices that I made and how hard that I worked. And I never had the opportunity to even say, hey, why don't you be a lawyer? Because they were constantly saying, by the way, I never want to be a lawyer. So how did you convince them to come work with you?
I didn't convince them. They actually made the decision on their own. And I think that's important. Most of my clients, their kids are all over the place, all over the United States, and they don't live close to each other. So it's truly a blessing to be able to work with my sons. I wish my daughter was in the business as well, but we can talk about that later. But it was their idea. I just presented an opportunity to them, and they made the decision on their own.
And they were looking for an opportunity, so they had that chance to come to that realization on their own.
Absolutely. That's right.
Well, some of the things that other people run into problems with family business, I think has a lot to do with communication and expectations, unfulfilled expectations or unspoken rules. How do you deal with communication and expectations in your office?
The best thing that I have done is to understand that there's generational differences, because there's an age difference, obviously. And each generation has unique perspectives. They have unique values that might be different from my own. So if I understand these generational differences, it makes it much easier to collaborate, to be innovative, and also to deliver tremendous value to our clients. And a great book for your audience would be A New Kind of Diversity. And I believe the author is Tim Elmore.
Okay.
And the book really talks about how to understand different generations. And I think just having that understanding helps facilitate a good environment to be in. And the other thing we did a couple of years ago was we identified our values, the things that were important to us.
Within your office?
In business.
Okay.
Yes. And so then we looked for commonalities. What are some of the things shared values that we have, where we can have a shared vision for building our business. And that exercise was actually very, very helpful. And it does require some leadership, and some thoughtful questions have to be asked of, let's say, your co-owners or your employees.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to do that and just ask, what's important about working at this company to you, you'll get some answers that really show that you care about the person, right? And you record those answers and just really look for common ground between the rest of the employees or the rest of the ownership.
If you have a difference of an opinion about something in the office, does that cause problems at family dinner, later on, or at holidays?
It never has, as far as I'm aware of. What about you guys?
I don't think so. Yeah. It typically, if we have like a heated, I don't want to say heated, but if we have a serious conversation at the office, it kind of just stays there. I think we all know what we want to achieve as a group, and keep that in mind when we're having these conversations. But I don't think it's ever really left the office.
It's helped a lot with separating business from personal, because I feel the same way. Mm-hmm. I feel like we could disagree and have a heated discussion about something in the business and then go see a movie or something like that.
Or go have dinner. Yeah.
And Joseph's he's very innovative, and he knows he's very technology savvy, and he likes to do things that I'm not used to.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is listen to him. How is it going to improve our business? Tell me more about that. And maybe we incorporate his idea. Instead of fighting it, let me listen, because they do have unique perspectives, unique body of knowledge, experience, even though they're younger.
Do you have an opportunity to work with people that are in a family business, and how do you deal with some of the financial planning business issues like divorce and bankruptcy and disability and planning for death?
Yeah, we thankfully haven't had any clients. So we do work with family businesses. I haven't seen a lot of spanning 2 generations like our business does, like father and son or father and son and daughter. But yeah, we do, and thankfully we don't see divorce. I think it's because of our process. We do start with what's important to the client, and we feel that our process leads to marital harmony. So never seen divorce, thankfully. With disability, I've had clients go through that, and they had disability insurance. So within 90 days of meeting with us, we have a meeting called a comprehensive safety review. We look at every risk that exists to their plan. And during that meeting, if they have a need for disability insurance, we'll get it for them. If they can't qualify, then we'll have a plan B of this is how we mitigate or avoid this risk. So, and then bankruptcy, thankfully, haven't dealt with that. I've had some people call in and ask, but I didn't take them on as clients. So not something I'm skilled in. But the main thing is like with working with clients in a family business is it's personal. Like every business is different. Every family is different. So every piece of advice we give them is based on what do they need to do right now to get as close as they can to their goals, and what do they need to continue doing so they can move towards what they want to achieve. So it's different for every client, but usually we get really good results, and a business helps too because there's so many different strategies you can do with businesses to save on taxes and help with investing and all the different disciplines of financial planning.
I want to take a moment just to invite callers to call in at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, to ask you guys a question either about running a successful family business or about financial planning HQ or about values-based financial planning. I think that everybody that works with money, bankers, financial advisors, people that sell stock or insurance, everybody says they do financial planning. And so how do you combat that? How do you define exactly what you do and how it's different?
People oftentimes think that I'm a financial planner. However, a financial planner is a technician. And what we do is we're financial CEOs for our clients. So I actually provide oversight on all the technicians. I mentioned the tax, legal, insurance, investments, financial planners. So I am the financial CEO. The client moves to the board of directors. I report to the client, and I keep all the other technicians in line and make sure that the advice that they're giving the board of directors, the clients, is in alignment with their overarching strategy.
Well, that's a great way to put it, but you can see how regular people that are not in the industry would be confused.
Yes,
when their stockbroker is telling them that they're doing the same thing that you're doing.
We hear that all the time. It's very common.
Yep.
You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say that we ask our clients to bring in their current financial plan to the meeting for us to look at, and it's usually 1 to 5 pages. It just has like their net worth on. It's not financial planning. It's a very low level of financial planning. If anything, it's just like a landing page for money they have, net worth, things like that. What we do is very much deeper than that, and we use that to give recommendations. So it's not just financial planning for the sake of financial planning. It's financial planning with a purpose.
Awesome. Well, we got to take another break, and now's a good time to let everybody know that we're still wanting somebody to call in and ask a question. 210-308-8867. Be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.